I stare at the birthday cake, watching 48 tiny flames dance across its surface. Each one mocks me, reminding me how many years I've wasted trying to be the perfect mother. The perfect anything. Make a wish, mother. Luke's voice carries that familiar strain, the one that tells me he'd rather be anywhere else. My son, my only child, stands beside his wife Mia, who's wearing that plastic smile she reserves for family photos and funerals. I close my eyes, more out of habit than hope. The wish is always the same, to have my son back. Not physically. He's right here in this overpriced house with its pristine furniture and carefully curated family photos. I want the Luke who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms, who'd tell me about his dreams of building skyscrapers that touch the clouds. Hurry up, Grandma, the wax is dripping. Sophie, my 8-year-old granddaughter, bounces on her heels. Her brother Liam clutches his tablet, barely looking up. I lean forward, but Mia's voice cuts through the moment like a knife through butter. Actually, before we do cake, I think we need to discuss something. She smooths her designer dress, a gesture I've learned means trouble's coming. Luke and I have been talking, and we feel it's best if we establish some boundaries. The flames blur as my eyes water. Not today. Please, not today. The children need structure, she continues, each word precise and practiced. Your unexpected visits, the unplanned sleepovers, the excessive gifts, it's becoming disruptive to our family dynamic. Luke shifts his weight, staring at the hardwood floors that probably cost more than my yearly pension. Mom, we think it's best if you call before visiting, Mia interrupts, and maybe limit it to once a month, during designated family time. The cake's vanilla scent turns sickly sweet. My stomach churns as memories flash through my mind. Missing Luke's 10th birthday because of a double shift at the hospital, working Christmas Eve when he was 14, all those sacrifices I made to keep us afloat after his father left. I'm their grandmother, I managed to say, my voice surprisingly steady. You can't just... Actually, we can. Mia steps forward, her heels clicking against the floor like a judge's gavel. This is our home, our family. We need to do what's best for the children. Sophie's lower lip trembles. But I like when Grandma visits. Honey, go upstairs with your brother, Mia commands. The children shuffle away, leaving behind a silence heavy with unspoken accusations. I stand slowly, my knees weak. Luke? I look at my son, searching for any trace of the boy who once defended me against playground bullies who mocked his single mom. He won't meet my eyes. It's for the best, Mom. We need structure. Structure. The word echoes in my head like a death knell. 3 years of Mia's influence, and my son speaks in her carefully crafted phrases. I think you should leave now, Mia says softly, but her eyes gleam with triumph. We'll have the children call you next weekend. I gather my purse, my hands shaking. The birthday cake sits abandoned, its flame still flickering, waiting for a wish that will never come true. As I reach the door, I hear Sophie's muffled crying from upstairs. I'll show myself out, I whisper, though no one's listening anymore. The door closes behind me with a quiet click that sounds like the end of everything. But standing in the gathering dusk, watching the warm glow of their perfect family life through the window, something shifts inside me. The pain crystallizes into something harder, sharper. My best friend Ella was right. Sometimes the only way to save your family is to destroy the person who's poisoning it. I pull out my phone and dial Ella's number. She answers on the first ring as if she's been waiting. It's time, I say, my voice steady now. Help me take her down. Ella's kitchen smells like coffee and conspiracy. She slides a mug across her granite counter while spreading out old photos like tarot cards predicting my future. Each image shows Luke and me in happier times. Birthdays, graduations, the day he got his architecture license. The timeline stops abruptly 3 years ago, right when Mia entered the picture. Look at this one, Ella taps a Christmas photo. Remember how he used to light up when you gave him those architectural books? Now he only lights up when Mia approves his decisions. My voice sounds hollow even to me. Did you know she made him sell his vintage drafting table? Called it clutter. Ella's phone buzzes. She checks it, her expression hardening. Speaking of your daughter-in-law, my contact at her company just sent me something interesting. Apparently, Mia's been making some unusual moves lately. What kind of moves? She's been having private meetings with the board, pushing for complete control of her department. But here's the thing. 3 of her former employees filed complaints about hostile work environment, all mysteriously withdrawn within days. I grip my coffee mug tighter. Withdrawn how? That's what my brother Marcus is looking into. Ella leans forward, lowering her voice despite us being alone. He's good at finding skeletons in corporate closets, and Mia's closet, it's starting to rattle. My phone chimes. A text from Luke. My heart jumps until I read it. Mom, Mia and I discussed it. We think it's best if you don't contact Sophie and Liam directly anymore. All communication should go through us first. The mug slips from my hands, shattering on the floor. Coffee spreads like blood across the tiles. What is it? Ella rushes around the counter. I show her the text, my hands shaking. She's isolating them completely now, using Luke as her mouthpiece. Don't clean that up, Ella says when I reach for the broken pieces. She grabs her phone instead. Marcus, it's time. Get over here. 30 minutes later, Marcus arrives. He's nothing like I expected. More professor than private investigator, with wire-rimmed glasses and a quiet intensity. He spreads his own photos across Ella's counter, these showing Mia in various business settings. Your daughter-in-law's got a pattern, he says, arranging the images chronologically. Every company she's worked for, she's left a trail of broken careers behind her. People who opposed her either quit or got fired. But here's where it gets interesting. Before your son, she was engaged to another architect, Tom something. Was? The word hangs in the air. He disappeared 3 years ago, right before she met Luke. Marcus adjusts his glasses. Police ruled it a voluntary disappearance, but the investigation was surprisingly brief. A chill runs through me despite the warm kitchen. What are you suggesting? Nothing yet, but I'd like to dig deeper. He pauses, studying my face. The question is, are you sure you want to know what I might find? Before I can answer, my phone chimes again. A social media notification. Mia's posted photos from yesterday. My birthday cake is there, but I'm not. The caption reads, "Perfect family evening with those who matter most." The rage rises in me like a tide, washing away any hesitation. Find everything, I tell Marcus. Every secret, every lie, every skeleton. I want to know it all. Ivy, Ella touches my arm. Once we start this, there's no going back. Are you ready for what this might do to Luke, to the kids? I look at the Christmas photo again, at Luke's innocent smile before Mia reconstructed his world to her specifications. At the mother I used to be before I was branded a threat to their perfect family narrative. Mia started this war, I say, my voice steady now. She just doesn't know it yet. Marcus gathers his photos efficiently. I'll start with Tom's disappearance. Something tells me that's where we'll find our first crack in her facade. As they discuss strategy, I stare at the coffee stain spreading across Ella's floor. Like Mia's influence over my family, it seeps deeper by the second. But unlike that stain, Mia's damage won't be solved with soap and water. This will take something much stronger. Something that leaves permanent marks. One more thing, Marcus says at the door. Whatever we find, remember, revenge is a poison. Make sure you're prepared for its side effects. I think of Sophie's tears, of Liam's distant eyes, of Luke's programmed responses. Some poisons, I tell him, are worth swallowing. Marcus's office smells like old paper and secrets. He spreads a manila folder across his desk, and my world shifts on its axis. The photos inside show Mia with a man I don't recognize. Tom, I assume. Their body language intimate despite the grainy quality. The timestamp reads 3 years and 2 months ago, exactly 1 week before she met Luke. These were taken outside Tom's apartment, Marcus says, his voice carefully neutral. It's the last confirmed sighting of him before he vanished. I pick up one photo. Mia's wearing the same pearl necklace she had on at my birthday disaster. What happened to him? Police report says he withdrew $10,000 from his account and disappeared. They assumed he left town, started fresh somewhere. Marcus slides another document forward. But his car was found 3 months later in a long-term airport parking lot, never boarded a flight. And Mia? Never formally questioned. She told police they'd broken up weeks before. He adjusts his glasses. Here's where it gets interesting. 2 days after Tom vanished, she transferred a large sum to an offshore account. My phone buzzes. A text from Luke. "Mom, we need to talk. Alone." "Go," Marcus says, reading my expression. "But be careful. Mia's been asking questions about you at her company. She knows something's up." The drive to Luke's office feels endless. I rehearse what to say, how to act normal when everything I know about my daughter-in-law has shifted into something darker. The security guard waves me through. He still remembers me from when Luke first started here. I find Luke in his corner office, standing at his drafting table. The new one, all steel and glass, nothing like the vintage piece Mia made him sell. He doesn't turn when I enter. "Sophie's been crying every night," he says to the window. "She thinks you don't love her anymore." The words hit like physical blows. "Luke, you know that's not—" "Someone at Mia's office mentioned seeing you with a private investigator." Now he turns, and I barely recognize his expression. "What are you doing, Mom?" "Protecting my family." "From what? My wife? The mother of your grandchildren?" He laughs, but it's a hollow sound. "Or are you just bitter because I finally have the stable family you never gave me?" The accusation lands exactly where he intended. I gave you everything I had. Between shifts, between boyfriends, between your own drama. His voice rises. "Mia's right, you're toxic, you always have been." "That's not you talking, that's her." "No, that's the truth. And if you don't stop whatever you're planning," he straightens, becoming the corporate architect rather than my son. "I'll file a restraining order. For all of us." My phone buzzes again. Ella. 911. "Mia's here. She knows about Marcus." The room spins slightly. "Luke, there are things you don't know about her, about Tom. Get out." He turns back to his window. "And Mom, don't contact Sophie or Liam again, not even through the school. Mia's already spoken to their teachers." I stumble to my car, vision blurring. Another text from Ella. "She's threatening to destroy my business. Says she has board connections. Get here now." The drive to Ella's shop is a blur. I find her in the back office, face pale. Mia's already gone, but her presence lingers like poison. "She knows everything," Ella whispers. "About Marcus, about the investigation. She said if we don't stop, she'll make sure Luke never speaks to you again, and she'll destroy everyone who helped you." I sink into a chair, remembering Tom's abandoned car. That mysterious offshore transfer. What if she's capable of worse than threats? That's what scares me. Ella hands me a business card. She left this. Said you should make an appointment if you want to work through your issues. The card reads, Dr. Karen Mitchell, family therapist. Below, in Mia's precise handwriting, before it's too late. My phone lights up with one final text from Luke. "I mean it, Mom. Stay away from my family." I stare at the therapist's card, then at the photo of Tom I secretly pocketed from Marcus's office. In it, Mia's smiling that same perfect smile she wore at my birthday, her pearl necklace gleaming like teeth in the flash. "Call Dr. Mitchell," I tell Ella. "It's time to see what other secrets Mia's hiding." Because now I know, this isn't just about saving my relationship with Luke anymore. It's about saving him from whatever darkness lurks behind his wife's perfect facade. Even if it costs me everything. Dr. Karen's office feels like a trap disguised as sanctuary. The leather couch squeaks as I shift, watching her arrange her notepad with practiced precision. Behind her desk sits a photo of her with Mia at some charity event, their smiles matching in their perfection. "Interesting that Mia recommended me," she says, studying my face. "She's been a patient for 3 years. Since right before she met my son." I keep my voice neutral, though my fingers dig into the leather armrest. Ah, yes, Luke. She glances at her notes. Tell me about the birthday incident. Before I can answer, my phone vibrates. A text from Marcus. Emergency. Tom's sister made contact. Meeting in 20. I need to reschedule, I say, standing abruptly. Dr. Karen's smile doesn't waver. Mia mentioned you might be resistant to therapy. She's very concerned about your obsessive behavior. The word obsessive hangs between us like a diagnosis. Did she mention Tom? Her pen stills, just for a moment, but it's enough. I'm afraid I can't discuss other patients. Even missing ones. Now her smile does fade, replaced by something sharper. Be careful, Ivy. Some questions are better left unasked. I find Marcus at our usual meeting spot, a quiet cafe 3 towns over. He's not alone. A woman sits beside him, her resemblance to the man in the photos unmistakable. This is Sarah, Marcus says, Tom's sister. Sarah's hands tremble around her coffee cup. I saw your investigators' inquiries about Tom. Nobody's asked about him in years. What can you tell me about his relationship with Mia? They were engaged, Sarah says. Tom was an architect too, like your son. He and Mia met at a design conference. Everything seemed perfect until he started acting strange, paranoid, said Mia wasn't who she claimed to be. Sarah pulls out her phone, scrolls through it. The night before he disappeared, he sent me this. The text reads, "If anything happens to me, check the storage unit. She's not going to stop with just me." My blood runs cold. Did the police... They searched the unit. It was empty. Sarah's voice cracks. But someone had accessed it 2 days before, using Tom's code. Marcus leans forward. The same day as Mia's offshore transfer. My phone buzzes again. Luke. Sophie's in the hospital. Allergic reaction. Don't come. The world tilts. Which hospital? Mom, I said don't. Which hospital? St. Mary's. But Mia's already called security. They won't let you in. I'm halfway to my car when Marcus catches up. Wait, there's more. Sarah found something in Tom's cloud drive. Files he'd backed up the night he vanished. It can wait. It can't. He grabs my arm. The files are about Dr. Karen. She's not just Mia's therapist. She was Tom's too, and 3 other people who vanished in the last decade. The pieces click together like a nightmare puzzle. Dr. Karen's calculated smile. The photo with Mia. The way she watched me when I mentioned Tom. My phone rings. Unknown number. Hello, Ivy. Dr. Karen's voice is silk over steel. I understand your granddaughter had an accident. Tragic how children can be exposed to allergens so easily, especially in their school lunches. My grip tightens on the phone. If you hurt her, this is just a warning. Stop digging, or next time it won't be just an allergic reaction. The line goes dead. Marcus watches me, waiting. What do you want to do? He asks. I think of Sophie in the hospital, of Tom's empty storage unit, of Dr. Karen's perfect smile matching Mia's, of all the questions left unasked by convenient investigators. Call Ella, I tell him. Tell her to meet us at your office, and bring everything you have on Dr. Karen's other patients. This isn't just about Mia anymore, is it? No. I start the car, my hand steady for the first time in days. Now it's about stopping them both before anyone else disappears. Because now I understand, I'm not just fighting for my family anymore. I'm fighting to keep them from destroying other families too. And this time, I won't let them see me coming. Marcus spreads the files across his desk like a roadmap to hell. 5 missing persons reports, all connected to Dr. Karen. All former patients, all architects or designers. Like Tom, like Luke. It's a pattern, Marcus says, connecting red strings between photos. Each victim disappeared after expressing paranoia about their partner. Partner always had an alibi. Always worked with Dr. Karen. Ella paces behind us, her heels clicking like a metronome. We need to warn Luke. He won't believe me. I touch Tom's photo, then slide it next to Luke's. The resemblance is unsettling, but maybe his firm will. My phone lights up. Mia, Sophie's asking for you. 1 supervised visit. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. It's a trap, Ella says, reading over my shoulder. Of course it is. I stand, gathering the files. That's why I'm going. Ivy, while I'm keeping them distracted, you two need to access Dr. Karen's office records. Marcus adjusts his glasses. Already ahead of you. Her receptionist owes me a favor. Tonight's their system backup. We'll have 20 minutes. I drive home in a daze, the weight of what we're planning sitting heavy in my chest. But as I park, something's wrong. My front door is slightly ajar. Inside, Mia sits at my kitchen table, wearing her perfect smile and those damn pearls. Your spare key was exactly where Luke said it would be. She gestures to the chair across from her. We need to talk. I remain standing. How's Sophie? How's... Recovering. No thanks to your meddling. She runs a finger along her necklace. Did you know Tom gave me these pearls right before he left? Left or disappeared? Her smile doesn't waver. You've been asking dangerous questions, Ivy. Making dangerous friends. Poor Ella, for instance. It would be tragic if her business licenses were suddenly revoked. What do you want? Stop investigating. Accept the boundaries we've set. Or... She slides a photo across the table. It shows Sophie at her school playground taken today. Children are so vulnerable, aren't they? My hands shake as I pick up the photo. If you hurt her, that depends entirely on you. Mia stands, smoothing her dress. Tomorrow's visit is your last chance. Play nice, accept your role as the distant grandmother, and everyone stays safe. After she leaves, I call Marcus. Change of plans, we need to move tonight. The backup doesn't start until... Then we'll make it start sooner. I grab my car keys. How good is your receptionist friend at creating emergencies? 3 hours later, I watch through binoculars as Dr. Karen's office lights flip on. The emergency server crash worked. While the doctor deals with the crisis, Marcus and Ella slip in through the back. My earpiece crackles. We're in, Ella whispers. But something's wrong. These files, Ivy, they're not just patient records. What are they? Blackmail, decades of it, and there's a file with your name. My blood runs cold. What? It's from 20 years ago, when Luke was 12, the night of the accident, the night I thought no one knew about, the night I'd buried so deep even Luke didn't remember it. There's more, Marcus cuts in. We found Tom's real file. He wasn't paranoid. He found evidence linking Dr. Karen to patient deaths going back 30 years. Mia was her patient even then. They were working together. A car door slams outside the office. Dr. Karen, returning early. Get out, I hiss. Now. But as I watch them scramble for the exit, another car pulls up, Mia's sleek sedan. My phone buzzes, a text from Luke. Mom, where are you? Sophie's asking for you. She's getting worse. Another text follows immediately, from an unknown number. A photo of Sophie in a hospital bed, timestamp from 5 minutes ago, but I'm looking right at Mia, walking into Dr. Karen's office, which means, Marcus, Ella, abort. I start my car. It's not Sophie in the hospital. They're using her to split us up. Too late. Through my binoculars, I see Dr. Karen's office lights go dark. My phone buzzes one final time. Dr. Karen, checkmate, Ivy. Now let's discuss what really happened that night 20 years ago. Come alone, or your friends join Tom. I grip the steering wheel, understanding finally hitting me. This was never about Mia controlling Luke. This was about Dr. Karen controlling all of us, and I just sent my only allies right into her trap. Dr. Karen's office is darker now, but her smile still gleams like a knife in moonlight. Ella and Marcus sit bound to chairs, while Mia stands guard by the door, those perfect pearls catching what little light remains. 20 years ago, Dr. Karen says, sliding a yellowed file across her desk, a 12-year-old boy was in a car accident. His mother claimed she swerved to avoid another vehicle, But there was no other car, was there, Ivy? My hands clench. You don't know anything about that night. I know Luke was asking questions about his father, about why he really left. She opens the file. I know you'd been drinking, and I know you convinced your son the memories were just trauma-induced nightmares. Mia's breath catches. For the first time, I see uncertainty crack her perfect mask. You're lying, I say, but the words taste like ash. Am I? Dr. Karen produces a tape recorder. Luke's 12-year-old voice fills the room. Mom was crying. She said Dad would never find us now. Then the car started spinning. Stop, my voice breaks. Imagine Luke hearing this, learning his mother nearly killed him, then spent 20 years gaslighting him about it. She clicks off the recorder. Of course, we could keep this between us, for a price. Don't listen to her. Ella struggles against her restraints. She's manipulating. Mia strikes her, the sound sharp in the darkness. Quiet. Here's my offer, Dr. Karen continues. Sign over your parental rights. Legally declare yourself unfit. Admit to your current unstable behavior and agree to institutional treatment. And if I refuse, then Luke learns everything about the accident, about your drinking, about how you've been stalking and harassing his wife. She gestures to a stack of photos, me following Mia, watching the house, meeting with Marcus. You'll lose him anyway, but this way we'll destroy him completely. My phone buzzes. Luke. Mom, where are you? Sophie keeps asking, please. TikTok, Mia whispers, her confidence returning. Choose quickly. Marcus catches my eye, subtly nodding toward his jacket pocket. Something glints inside, a phone still recording. But Dr. Karen notices too. She reaches into the pocket, pulls out the device, and drops it into a glass of water. Amateur move, Marcus, just like Tom's attempts to expose us. Where is he? I ask, playing for time as I inch toward her desk. The same place your friends will be if you don't sign. She slides a document forward. Choose your son's peace of mind over your selfish need for connection. My fingers brush the tape recorder. If I can just... Mia's hand clamps down on my wrist. Looking for this? She holds up the recorder, then drops it into the same glass of water. We have copies anyway. Sign the papers, Ivy, Dr. Karen says. Or tomorrow morning, Luke receives everything. The accident report, the therapy recordings, evidence of your recent instability. His perfect family life shatters, and he'll know it's all your fault, again. I look at Ella, at Marcus, at the waterlogged recorder containing my darkest secret, at Mia's triumphant smile and Dr. Karen's practiced concern. You're right, I whisper, reaching for the pen. I am unstable. Then I grab the glass of water and throw it at the electrical outlet behind Dr. Karen's desk. The room plunges into chaos. Sparks fly, alarms blare. In the darkness, I hear Mia cry out, Dr. Karen cursing. I find Ella's chair by touch, start working on her restraints. Security will be here in 2 minutes, Dr. Karen shouts over the noise. You've just proved our point about your instability. Maybe, I say, freeing Ella, but I also just destroyed your only copy of that recording. Digital files corrupt so easily during power surges. As if on cue, her computer monitor flickers and dies. You're bluffing, Mia says, but her voice wavers. We have backups. Like the ones Marcus already encrypted when you let him into your system. I move to free Marcus. Check your files, check all of them. Security's footsteps thunder down the hall. This isn't over, Dr. Karen snarls. No, I agree, helping Marcus up, because now I have proof of what you did to Tom, to all of them. And tomorrow, Luke won't be the only one receiving files. We run, alarm still screaming behind us. But as we reach my car, my phone buzzes one final time. A photo from Mia. Sophie in a hospital bed, looking tiny and pale. The message reads, You really think we'd leave our insurance policy in that office? Choose wisely, Ivy. You have 1 hour. And just like that, I realized this wasn't my victory at all. It was exactly what they wanted all along. The hospital corridor stretches before me like a gauntlet. Sophie's room is at the end, but I'm not heading there. Not yet. Instead, I push open the door to the chapel, where I know Mia is waiting. She sits in the front pew, those pearls gleaming under fluorescent lights. Dr. Karen stands beside her, both turning as I enter. The papers? Dr. Karen extends her hand. I hold up the manila envelope. First, I want to see Sophie. That wasn't the deal. Mia's voice wavers slightly. Something's off about her composure. No deal until I see her. I take a step forward. Unless she's not really here. Dr. Karen's smile tightens. Of course she's here, you saw the photo. From last month's strep infection, I recognize the stuffed giraffe in the background. Sophie lost it 2 weeks ago. Mia stands abruptly, pearls clicking together. It doesn't matter. Sign the papers or Luke gets the recording. About that, I pull out my phone, dial a number. Luke, you're on speaker. Mom, his voice fills the chapel. What's going on? Why did Mia rush out when she got your text? Dr. Karen moves toward me, but I step back. Luke, honey, where are the kids? At home with me. Sophie's been asking for you all day, but Mia said, You stupid bitch, Mia hisses, lunging for the phone. I dodge, letting her momentum carry her into a pew. Luke, I say clearly, I need you to listen carefully. About the accident when you were 12. Don't! Dr. Karen's mask finally cracks. You have no idea what you're doing. I was drinking that night. I nearly got us killed running from your father. I've spent 20 years being ashamed, letting that shame make me weak, letting people like Mia and Dr. Karen use it against me. Silence on the line. Then, Mom, but that's not the whole story, I continue. Ask Mia about Tom. Ask her what really happened to him when he threatened to expose Dr. Karen's patient abuse. Ask her about the others. She's lying, Mia says, but she's looking at Dr. Karen now. Something like fear in her eyes. Karen, tell him she's lying. Luke, Dr. Karen's voice turns soothing, professional. Your mother is having another episode. We've been trying to help. Then explain this. I pull out a thumb drive. Marcus recovered everything before you fried your system. Tom's real files, the offshore accounts, the evidence he gathered about your other victims. Give me that. Dr. Karen steps forward, all pretense gone. It's already uploaded. One call and it goes to the police, unless what? Mia demands, but she's backing away from Dr. Karen now, understanding dawning in her eyes. Unless you tell Luke the truth, all of it. How Dr. Karen manipulated you after Tom's death. How she's been using both of us, playing on our fears, our shame, making us hurt each other while she pulled the strings. Mia? Luke's voice cracks. What's she talking about? Mia touches her pearls, and suddenly I see them differently. Not a trophy from Tom, but a reminder, a collar. He found the files, she whispers. Tom found them, and he was going to expose everything. Karen said we had to stop him, that he'd ruin everything we'd built, and then he disappeared, I finish, just like the others who got too close. Dr. Karen laughs, the sound sharp as breaking glass. Prove it. Already did. While we've been talking, Marcus has been meeting with Sarah, Tom's sister, showing her everything. The police are probably already... A siren wails in the distance. Dr. Karen's face contorts. She reaches into her jacket. Mom? Luke sounds scared now. What's happening? The gun looks almost delicate in Dr. Karen's hand. Give me the drive. But Mia moves first, knocking the gun away. It skids across the floor as they grapple, pearls scattering like drops of blood. Luke, I say calmly, I need you to hang up and call the police. Tell them everything. The chapel door bursts open. Marcus and Ella rush in with hospital security, and as Dr. Karen is wrestled to the ground, as Mia collapses in tears, as pearls roll across the chapel floor like scattered secrets, I realize. Sometimes the greatest act of revenge is simply telling the truth, no matter how much it costs you. The police find Tom's body exactly where Dr. Karen's files said it would be. I watch from my car as they excavate the foundation of her summer house, wondering how many other secrets are buried in concrete and lies. Sophie runs to me as I enter Luke's house, wrapping her arms around my waist. "Grandma, did you see? They arrested Dr. Karen on TV." "I saw, sweetheart." I stroke her hair, catching Luke's eye across the room. He looks exhausted, the weight of everything we've learned etched in new lines around his mouth. Mia sits at the kitchen table, her neck bare where the pearls used to be. She's agreed to testify against Dr. Karen in exchange for immunity. The truth about Tom, about all of it, will come out in court. "The investigators found more files," Luke says quietly, after Sophie runs off to play. "Other patients, other victims, going back decades. And now everyone knows." Mia's voice is hollow. "Everything I did, everything I helped Santan, I helped her do." I sit across from her, studying the woman who tried to destroy me, who almost succeeded. She looks smaller somehow, without Dr. Karen's influence shadowing her. "Why did you stay?" I ask. "After Tom?" "She convinced me I was like her, that I needed her to be better." Mia's hands shake as she reaches for her water glass. "The same way she convinced you that your shame about the accident made you unworthy of Luke." Luke moves behind me, his hand touching my shoulder. A gesture so familiar it aches. "I remember that night, you know. Not just the accident. I remember you singing to me in the hospital, staying even when the nurses said visiting hours were over. I was so afraid you'd hate me when you learned the truth." "Mom." He squeezes my shoulder. "I've known for years. I found the old police report when I was 17. I couldn't bear to see you punish yourself anymore." Ella appears in the doorway, Marcus behind her. "They're ready for your statement, Mia." As Mia stands, she pauses. "The pearls. They weren't from Tom. Karen gave them to me after we..." She swallows hard. "I'm sorry for everything." I watch her leave with Ella and Marcus, remembering how this all started. With revenge, with rage, with the desperate need to protect what was mine. "What happens now?" Luke asks. Through the window, I can see Sophie and Liam playing in the yard. Their laughter carries faintly, a reminder of everything we almost lost. "Now we tell the truth," I say. "All of it. No more secrets, no more shame. Even the hard parts, especially those." I turn to face my son. I spent 20 years letting guilt control me, letting people like Karen use it as a weapon. But the real shame wasn't the accident. It was letting fear keep me from being the mother you deserved. He pulls me into a hug, and for a moment I'm back in that hospital room, singing softly to my 12-year-old boy. "Sophie asked if you'd stay for dinner," he murmurs. "Just dinner?" "For as long as you want, Mom." Later, as we set the table, one place setting more than before, my phone buzzes. A text from Sarah, Tom's sister. "Found something in his old things. A letter. You should see it." I look at my family through the doorway. Luke helping Sophie with her homework. Liam showing Mia his latest drawing. All of us broken and healing, learning to trust again. The text can wait. Right now, dinner's getting cold, and my grandchildren are calling my name. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's about rebuilding what they tried to break, even if the cracks still show, even if some wounds never fully heal. Sometimes it's enough just to be here, setting an extra place at the table, letting the past rest where it belongs, in silence, in truth, in peace. I put my phone away and join my family for dinner.